After Arsenal beat Manchester United 1-0 at Old Trafford, there's one player everyone is talking about, and that is the involvement and brilliance of William Saliba yet again in this game, picking up man the match and putting a destroying display in against United. But let's look at how Saliba was able to be so good and what makes him one of the most outstanding defenders in the world. Well, let's get into it. Now, it's fair to say defensively, Arsenal have had an incredible season, getting the most clean sheets in the league while also being the best defensive side in the country. Only 28 goals conceded within the last 37 Premier League games, and a lot of them this year at least have been big individual mistakes rather than a system mistake, and you've got to give credit to every single player that has played in there. William Saliba, I believe, has gone a bit under the radar because of the excellence of Gabriel this season. Saliba has stepped up and been as good as he was last year without getting enough credit, and after he got man the match away at Anfield, away at the Etihad, and now away at Old Trafford, people are starting to give him credit, and this was another monster performance by him. So first of all, we're going to go through how good he was on the ball. Yet again, another brilliant ball playing defensive performance by Saliba, and he was so good the whole time. He kept picking up the ball for Arsenal in elevated position and being very calm to be able to put it out wide or make Arsenal go forward within the passes. Something that I really like about Saliba is that he always, you can tell, wants to go forward. He doesn't do sideways passes if he has to, and every single time he can pick out Odegaard or Rice in between the lines, he will certainly do that, even if it means that Arsenal will get pressed even more and it could cause more of a risk. He don't mind doing them passes because he trusts in his ability and his teammates, and that's very important. Not only that, his ability and confidence on the ball in this game really helped us. It was a game where a lot of our defenders were quite nervy, and I don't think all of them really had the best game, but Saliba was the one that really stood tall in this moment. He didn't find any nerves on the day like we have seen maybe before, and there was a lot of times where he was getting pressed and he was the furthest deeper centre back that we had, and he would just calmly push the ball forward with progressive movement and put the ball even out wide or keep passing it forward to give us a chance. While Gabriel is the fighter at the defence, and he was the guy that is fighting the other players, trying to get the most aggression into the other team and try and keep the ball that way, Saliba is the one that is silky on the ball, being very collective with his passes and being very good at his technical ability. Obviously, he still has a very big physical stature and it's hard to get the ball off him, but the fact that he was just easily running into midfield and passing it off is such a confidence reliever, and it helps not only sustain possession but also stop the press by United. They're going to be a lot less wary and a lot less wanting to press Saliba in tightly if they know he can just run into midfield and keep the ball that way. And on the ball in this game, he was so important. He had the most touches in the team and in the match with 99, and made the most passes at 76 out of 84, having a 90% accuracy rating. He made 3 passes into the final third and was very good the whole day at helping us tick over and get the ball into the attacking third. Now, when it comes to on the ball, Saliba had a very good game, but when it comes to off the ball stuff, he had a world-class game. He was unreal off the ball and honestly was one of the best performances I've seen this season by an Arsenal defender, despite them being so good. Now, while some of the stats may be inflated because of the positioning and how things actually work out, him and Gabriel's positioning together I thought was so good in this game, and you could tell at this point they're basically telepathically moving off each other and they understand what each other want to do. With how Man United play, especially early on, they were trying to do an over-the-top through ball system to Højlund. Højlund's a very physical striker, not necessarily easy to get the best of, but it was very comfortable that Gabriel and Saliba always kept close to each other on him and always had him in the middle so they could always help each other when they needed to. This happened very early on when Gabriel would get a touch in and Saliba would bring the ball away quite cleanly, and there'd be later moments where it would just be extended for Arsenal because they'd push more players up and Saliba would be one-on-one with Højlund and winning them aerial duels and their physical battles. He's so good at not only going backwards so he can win the tackles, but he's also good at stepping out. There's many times where we needed him to step out in the box where our winger would cut in and he would do a brilliant block or brilliant tackle to get the ball, and even then he can step up in the middle of the pitch as well, being very physical on Højlund and the midfielders of United to win the ball back and do a bit of the Gabriel role that he doesn't mind doing as well. And for instance, this is one of the moments where I think he really excels. You see Gabriel with Højlund defensively a bit deeper in the pitch. This is where Højlund is trying to keep him to his back so he can probably turn him and get a shot away. Saliba at this point was down that right side because he was helping Ben White and the other players down there because Man United had a bit of an overload in that situation. And this is just how smart these two are. Gabriel holds up Højlund enough time for everyone basically to come back and defend. You get Trossard, Rice and Saliba all coming back. But the fact that he can basically shift Højlund into Saliba in that moment makes it so much better, so Saliba can get the pass away and get Arsenal out of the danger. And I didn't really expect Manchester United's over-the-top through ball and through ball system to work because that is pretty much where Saliba and Gabriel mostly excel at, and it really didn't in this game. There was later on moments where there's even a brilliant opportunity here in space to get Højlund in behind, and you could say things about the Amrabat pass, but the fact that Saliba looks to go right and then changes his run to go left to go and collect the ball is just brilliant defending. Højlund had absolutely no chance of getting that, and Saliba always managed his run. And now even after it, Højlund does really well to press Saliba into the corner, and Saliba is so calm with the ball that he just passes it out, and everyone knows on his team that he's going to be so comfortable with it, and he just eases everyone into everything in his team. And to pinpoint how good his defensive and decision making was back there is this big moment that obviously everyone's seen at this point. Garnacho basically gets free of Ben White, who I think had a good game but not a brilliant game, and Garnacho is here in a 1v1 against Saliba, who he wants to have. He knows that he can get past him, he can basically score or have a really good opportunity to. Saliba just backs off and waits, because he's always looking at the ball and not the player. He's always waiting for that ball to get into a perfect moment where he can get a clean tackle in. And while it's in the box, it's a very risky decision. He has to get this right, but we've seen Saliba get it right so much. It's his best thing he's good at. And how comfortable he is with his weaker foot when he's leaning backward to just stick a leg out perfectly and tackle it, and then pass the ball off to Saka so we could get away is just world class. How calm that is in a precious situation like that, and the fact that that could have resulted in something really bad for Arsenal, I think summed up his whole game. And there was many times after it where he came out and got tackles in, and I don't think Højlund got anything in the game because Saliba was that good. And the defensive stats from this game were incredible. He made 4 headed clearances, 11 defensive actions, 2 recoveries, 6 clearances, 1 block, and 1 last man tackle, with 3 out of 4 tackles won. He made the most tackles, the most clearances in this game, and also had the most passes and most touches for the team. And not only that, them over the top through balls, them balls but in behind, he was winning everything against Højlund, and he didn't actually lose a duel this whole game, which is incredible. Out of his 7 duels that he had, he won every single one of them, winning 4 on the ground and winning 3 in the air. He was so good everywhere on the pitch, and when he's playing like that, and considering he doesn't have to do that much defending in most of Arsenal's games, the fact that we can just rely on our defenders and give Manchester United or any other team the ball more is very good going into the future when we're going to have to play them hard Champions League games. At the age of 23, I think it's very clear that William Saliba is going to be one of the best centre-backs in the world, and he is at the moment one of the best in the country of the Premier League anyway. He's had a brilliant season yet again, and just because Gabriel next to him has also helped him and also been immense does not diminish William Saliba's achievements by any means. He's been as good as he was last year, if not even better, and games like this really show the quality he has. He has been nervous in games before, like the Porto game, but when he gets his passing and he's comfortable, and the more games he plays at this level in these sort of atmospheres, are only going to improve him as a player. And he really stepped up when Arsenal needed it yet again. Like every single player has this season, they've stepped up when we have needed them to. Let me know what you guys think about William Saliba's performance in this game, and let me know if there's anyone else you want me to talk about within this time. Obviously the season's coming up to the end, obviously one more game left, and hopefully Arsenal will still win the league, but even if they don't, they've had a brilliant season and a lot of their players have really improved, which is the best thing overall. Thank you guys for watching. Watch my video yesterday if you want to see my instant reactions to the game. If not, I'll see you in the next one.